Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Alright. All I gotta say is I'm glad y'all can't smell through this camera because I do not smell. I do not smell great right now. Just went for a little run. Um, Pretty much off of like no dinner. I don't really know what I was thinking. I'm just like so tired. Like so tired. Um, it's been a crazy week. I can't lie. Hence the delay in upload. I meant to post on Insta last night that I was gonna be delayed tonight, but um, you know, it is what it is, as they like to say. I I took my car in for an oil change this weekend, and um, got the oil change. I was all good, and then like they like do they do like a check of like all the other stuff kind of in the car and whatnot, and they check the transmission fluid, and they pull out the like stick, the dipstick or whatever, and literally just black. And I'm like, oh. And he's like, yeah, I think it's like burning itself. It's so bad. And then I remember my last oil change, I actually got the fluid like swapped out last time. So I was like, oh, well, this probably isn't good. So I like took it in. And then a guy calls me today at this like shop, and he's like, yeah, we're gonna need to like rebuild your transmission, which is essentially, if you guys don't know, like basically just means like it's basically just like a repair of a big piece of the car, right? The transmission is like without like that's how you switch gears, So like if you don't have the transmission, you're not doing anything. So yeah, I was kind of bummed about that. It's gonna at least be a few grand, if not more. So I'm like not too stoked about that, but kind of there's not much I can do at this point. I do want at least my plan was to sort of ride this car out until I like graduated and left Denver, but I'm praying that that's still a reality, but the way it's looking, I don't know, but um yeah, I honestly was gonna come on here and just the wisdom of the week was just gonna be like being tired, because I think everyone can relate to this. I just and I especially find it like as I begin to, I don't know. Everyone's like, you can't say you're old, bro. You're only 24. But I'm like, it like relative to when I was in high school and had unlimited energy, like stuff is changing, It's not like it's for the worse, but like I do find the older I've gotten, the more I just like think you just have more stuff going on. Like you don't have as much time to like chill and kind of like do your own thing. Like I'm just like tired all the time. And I do think a big reason of that is because I'm running like 50 miles every week. Like I'm guessing that has something to do with it. But um, from like how I see older people that I know in my life, like I imagine it's just the same way. Like you're just always tired all the time. And um, yeah, I don't know how much I'm looking forward to that. I got like 10 hours of sleep on Tuesday. Oh my gosh. Monday night, and then Tuesday morning I had to wake up and go for a big run, and oh, I just felt great. Like it was just so nice, and like I really do miss like being able to get that much sleep, cuz some nights it's just not a reality. You're just busy doing stuff, like it's not like that. But um, yeah, other than that, I'm without a car for like a week. So my plan right now is I have this really shoddy bike that I got from a friend probably like a year ago, and the back brake is completely broken, right? And the front brake like rubs on the tire the entire time when you like go on it, and it works, but the rubbing is just annoying because it definitely like one slows you down a little bit, and then two like you just hear it, and it's definitely like not good for the bike. So I'm gonna try to do some finagling and then like get it to come off. I'm essentially like I want to say like 8 miles away from my job. So it's not like a small bike ride, but it's going to be like definitely be like Ubering back and forth every day for this week. Cause that's just not going to be a reality for J Dog. It's just not happening. But, so yeah, not the best last couple days for me. I'm going to be honest, but we're here to speak the truth, not give you just the glitz and the glamour. But on a brighter note, I did get like a little Bob Ross session in this weekend with some friends, and I was super stoked about that. So I wanted to share this painting with y'all. I think you can probably see. I'm titling it "Fall Under the Sea." So basically, it's like the sea. What you're looking at is like the seafloor, and then it was gonna be seaweed, but then I was like, wait, what if these are trees? And then I was like, wait, these orange things are supposed to be like leaves. What if I made like underwater trees, and because we're like approaching fall, they're like losing their leaves underwater, I don't know, I thought it was a pretty cool idea. Um, and then it's like fall under the sea, like the season fall under the sea, but then the double meaning is like fall under the sea, like in terms of like go for a dive under the sea and just find out, just fall into the water. So yeah, I enjoyed doing that. It's kind of fun to go into something creative. I think I learned that from this, and just like you kind of just improvise, and whatever comes to mind, you just like flow with, because that's really how I found you can activate creativity like super fast when you don't really you have kind of like a rough outline of something, but it's not totally shaped in. It's open to your like individuality, to give that little personal like schnaz. But the expert of everything. So what do I mean here? This is an idea that came to me a couple weeks ago, and it really just gets at this idea that it's especially with things that you're not feeling very confident about, and it's very simple, and I found it to actually be very effective. Like when you're kind of stressing about this or about that, and you're like, well, I just don't know if I'm like competent enough to do that. You imagine like what your mind would be if you were an expert of that. So take like let's say I just planted a garden this year, right? So let's take I was a little worried. I was like, am I going to kill all the plants, right? I got these plants. They were kind of expensive. Like, I think all in all, my garden was like $50. Like, it's not negligible, right? And I was like, hopefully I don't like kill all these plants. So I'm like thinking about it, and I'm like, all of a sudden I'm like, okay, instead of being nervous, put yourself in an expert's shoes. How would an expert respond to this? And this has actually come up in my job quite a bit, because I've actually taped this thing to my laptop that just says, what would a scientist do? Because there's just some days where I just feel lost, and I'm like, well, I don't even know what I should be doing right now. And then I ask myself, what would a scientist do? And then I'm like, oh, like I'm already a scientist, right? But it helps me kind of like get in that zone a little bit. And it's the same thing with this. Like, what would a gardener do, right? Well, they would probably, if they didn't know the crops, they would look them up. How much sun do they get? How deep do you have to plant them? How much water do you have to give them? And then before you know it, you're like understanding, you're taking notes, you're not really fearing this process of, oh, I just don't know if I'm like confident enough to like do this. And, you really just like spurt your growth a lot. And by doing this, it's just like, it really just like breaks down that wall, and you're able to really break through. And, I find is more easily take on challenges when your mindset is focused on, okay, what would an expert do? Because I'm just gonna pretend I won't, even though I know I'm not. So yeah, pretty simple concepts, and honestly, this episode probably isn't gonna be that long, because I'm just I gotta figure out that bike issue, and I gotta get some food in me, and honestly, it feels like I've ran a marathon in this week, because I was like talking to I was actually talking to my girlfriend, and I was like, does it not feel like a Thursday? Like, I feel like I've just done so much this week that I just feel like I'm like, oh, tomorrow's Friday. No, wait, it's Thursday. I'm like, dang it. But we're getting through it. We're almost done. Um, I'm getting to the point with mileage for running where it's just like, I just run, and it's not a matter of like, oh, 8 miles. Like, will I be able to do 8 miles? It's more just like, okay, when is this going to be over? Because you're just like, you're not like fatigued at all. You're just like kind of cruising and just like, all right, like, 50 more minutes of this and then we're done. I'm just like, you just reach this point where you get past like boredom, past like the resistance of like not wanting to do it because you have to do it. And you're just like, okay, like I'm gonna do it. It's kind of like going to work, for someone that really doesn't like their job. Like, you don't want to go, you're super bored of the job, you dislike the job. And yet people still go because they have to, right? You have to have income. And then it's just like, you're just like kind of in Wonderland, not really thinking about anything. But, it's definitely a mindset to be in. I don't know if it's a great one, but it is very very blissful, that's for sure. So yeah, not too crazy of an episode, but I hope you guys were able to get something out of it. And I'm your host, Jeremy. This is Life of the Germ, and we'll catch you next Tuesday. Well, it is still Tuesday. I will have it up by Tuesday, but it was like 24 hours later than it normally is. So still got it done. Sue me. See ya.